I need to think about it is not an objection. You get to the end of the sales call, you drop the price, and your prospect says, I need to think about this. Then, of course, you objection handle. And guess what happens? They still don't buy. Look, the reason this is happening, guys, is because I need to think about it is not an objection like you've been taught. It is a symptom. So today in this live role play, we're gonna actually walk through how to avoid and preempt the think about it objection so you never hear it again, or you hear it at a much lower incidence than you otherwise would. After watching this demo, you're gonna have everything you need to defeat this objection once and for all. How did I learn this? The hard way. Through the last 12 years of sales, building sales teams from 5 people to over 150 people, sales teams collecting over $6 million in cash collected per month, and individual salespeople, and in fact entire sales teams, closing on average 40% on offers. I've spent way more than 10,000 hours in sales, and I can tell you that if you want to break through that $30,000 per month in commission barrier, you are going to need to deal with, think about it in an entirely different way from how you've been trained. Let me show you how we do that. So let's role play. So I'm going to play the seller, and I'm going to have my buddy Jake play the rep, and we're going to go through how most people do it. Watch the setup. I'm going to be the average rep. Watch the patterns, watch my panic, watch my pivots, and see if this isn't similar to how you've been trained to handle I need to think about it.
So we've gone through everything, Jake. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. It all sounds great. Just need some time to think about it.
Of course, yeah, totally understand. Just out of curiosity, though, is there a specific part that you want to think about? Like, is it the price or is it more about timing?
Nah, I mean, I just want to sit on it for a few days. That's okay.
Sure. And I just want to make sure I'm giving you everything you need. What would need to be true for you to feel ready to move forward today?
I don't know, man. Just need some time on this. That's all.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, did you hear what just happened? The rep, which was me, asked 3 different times different versions of the same question and just kept pivoting and digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And when you do this, it tends to increase sales resistance, and it causes your prospect to dig in and fortify their position and push back on you and just try to get off the phone because they feel pressured, they feel rushed. It's not a good look. This is what I call a prospect being in an escape state instead of the opposite, which is a thinking state. In sales, you really want your prospects to be thinking alongside you. They need to be thinking out loud and reasoning with you. We often call this, let's reason together. If they're reasoning together with you, you have a chance to sell them because you, of course, have a chance to understand their decision-making criteria, their timeline, their obstacles or perceived obstacles, and how that relates to how you can help them get over those obstacles and get started. But when they're in an escape state, meaning they start to feel sales pressure, they start to feel you leaning on them, they're in an escape state, meaning they just want to get off the call. So a really key important part of sales in 2026, and I'm sure beyond that, is you want to avoid triggering your prospect into that escape state. It's like the wounded deer or the scared animal that's spooked at the water hole by the approaching lions, and then it just runs from the water hole, right? You want to make your prospect feel comfortable and safe at the water hole, reasoning alongside you for the entire sales call. And this starts in the first 5 minutes of the call, the first 10, 15 minutes of the call. So now we're going to do a role play where I'm going to handle this differently starting in discovery. So in the next role play, we're not at the close, we're not in objection handling, we're now earlier in the call in discovery. So let's see how that goes. So before we get into that next role play, I'm going to just give you some numbers that should put this in context. I was helping one sales team in B2C, and they had a 7% starting close rate on their 2 founding salespeople. So I looked at their sales approach and their script and their whole call flow. I rewrote it, and then they had a 48% close rate after, with the same leads, same volume, same everything. We just changed the sales SOP. We identified 5 specific moments in the call that they needed to change that are going to eliminate the think about it objection, and they're going to eliminate that feeling of need to get into an escape state on the prospect side and keep the prospect firmly in a thinking state alongside with you for the whole call. So let's look at that second role play now and what it sounds like.
All right, so Jake, just before we go any further here, what would need to be true about our offer today for you to feel just really good about the decision and moving forward?
Good question. I guess I do want to make sure the timing works for our Q3 rollout.
Right. You mentioned the Q3 rollout that you guys wanted to do. And is there anything else at all, like financially, from your team side, anything you'd want to have sorted that if we didn't address it today, you'd still be thinking about after we hang out?
I mean, honestly, my business partner typically weighs in on things like this.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Now, is he or she, is that someone we should loop in before we get too far today? or are you comfortable kind of making the call yourself?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
So here's why that second question that I asked changed everything. Is there anything else you'd still be thinking about on the call today after we hung up? It's one of the most powerful lines in sales. Unspoken objections kill deals. So you need to do whatever you need to do to get them to talk to you. You don't want to wait for the objections to surface. You want to invite the objection or the concern or the fear out early. Hormozy talks about this like an unexploded bomb. You want to explode the bombs or the hand grenades early in the call so that you can work with them rather than waiting until the end after you've dropped the price. Then the bomb's going to go off and it's going to be much more destructive. Or another way I'd put this is it's a bomb with a time-delayed fuse. It's a countdown timer on the bomb. And it starts at the very first minute of the call and it has a 30-minute or a 1-hour time delay fuse. So what your whole point is on a sales call is to diffuse the bomb as you're going through the sales call. Like, get right in there, cut the red and green wire, get that done before you get to the price drop. Because once you get to the price drop, and if you haven't diffused the bomb is going to blow up in your face and it's going to wreck your sale. This way, by the time you get to that price, you have already discussed everything. And there's nothing else hanging out there in the shadows that could come back and hurt you. So if you bring up the objection on the call, especially early in the call, you win. If the prospect brings up the objection, especially late in the call, you lose. They win. That's the whole game. You guys got to control the flow of the thinking space and therefore put yourself in the best possible position to help them make a great informed decision before the end of the call. Because obviously, as I've told you guys many times before, when the prospect brings something up, it has 100 times more weight and importance than anything that you bring up. Now, let's talk about what happens when you try to do all this correctly. You do everything, you do your full deep dive in discovery, you're thinking alongside the prospect, and it still happens at the end of the call. Well, I would say in most cases, that is because you didn't do as good a job as you thought you did in the discovery early in the call. That might be an area for improvement. You go back and look at that discovery and look at that early call conversation and make sure you're actually doing as good a job as you think you are early in the call, or have someone else take a look at it. I do have a school community you can join. I'll give you a free link just down in the description. There's a 7-day free trial. You could come into that school community, you could drop a link to your call, and we collectively as a team in there, me or someone on my team, could review it and help you identify maybe where you're dropping the ball. But here's what you're going to do if they still say, I need to think about it at the end of the call. First of all, you're going to pause and you're not going to pivot. Give them 2 to 3 seconds of silence. Just let it marinate for a second. No immediate comeback. Then you're going to ask one clean question, which is, what exactly are you going to think about? That forces the prospect to move from the vague to the specific. And then you're going to hand the problem back. Remember, your prospects are creative, resourceful, and whole. They have equal, if not greater, responsibility in the sales call for solving the problems that they unearth in the sales call as you do. Don't feel like you have to have an answer for everything. You have to help them, in many cases, realize that they have the answer for their own objection, and if it's worth it to them, they will solve their own problem.
Yeah, Drew, I think I just need a little time to think this over.
Okay. You want to think this over?
Yeah, noodle on it, marinate on it, pray on it. Just, that's what I typically do.
Gotcha. Okay. Which part that we went over today are you going to be thinking about exactly?
I don't know, all of it, I guess. Yeah, all of it.
Okay. Is it more that you feel like you need more information from me? Or is there maybe something we already covered that's making you hesitate?
Honestly, I guess I'm a little bit worried about implementation. My team is already stretched, a little thin as of right now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, fair concern. Totally fair. Let me ask you, if your team wasn't stretched, would everything else about this make sense to you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think everything we talked about today was great. I think it will definitely help us. So yeah, I think so.
So let me ask you this question, Jake. What specifically do you think you would be able to do to solve that implementation concern that you have?
That's a good question. I guess just talk with the team, make sure we have the capacity for it right now and the budget. But yeah, it's more so just a conversation that we have to have.
Yeah, is it a matter more of like getting people ready for extra workload, or is it something where you might have to pull resources from some other department maybe to help out just for the time being while you're doing this rollout, or kind of what are some of the solutions that are coming to mind as you think through it?
Yeah, it's really just making sure that we can take on the workload. And I think they're going to be okay with it, but just something that I feel like I need to take back to the team before, jumping on the ship right now.
For sure. That's fair. And you mentioned budget. Is that a situation where you feel like you have enough budget existing, or might you need to go up to the higher ups and get additional budget actually confirmed before you can move forward comfortably?
No, I think we have budget for it already.
Okay,
Within
so
our
that's not really a
department.
blocker.
Yeah.
It's really just the team having the time for the implementation, it sounds like.
Yeah. hmm
Okay. Well, I mean, that's totally fair. I guess, assuming that you could get the team aligned on the implementation, would there be anything else holding you guys back from moving forward and getting started?
No, I think we would be ready to go as long as we're all on the, the same page.
Okay, sounds great. So, and then when are you going to be able to kind of circle up with the team and make sure everybody's on board and ready to take this on?
Yeah, I mean, I can get us all on a call tonight, maybe a couple hours from now, see if they're available, talk it over, and then get back to you then, maybe in a few hours from now.
Okay, awesome. And I don't want to rush you guys. I understand things come up. It's hard to wrangle a team. I've been there myself. So I guess what is like a safe, what's a safe bet? This is Friday, Friday night is tough. Should we
Yeah.
maybe try to circle back Monday or Tuesday? Would that be more comfortable?
I can see, I mean, I don't know what your schedule looks like, but would you be available in about 3 hours from now, 7 o'clock?
Great question. Let me check my schedule and make sure I'm available for you. Yeah, we could do that. We could do it. We could do I've got about a 30-minute window between 4:30 and 5.
Okay. Yeah, let's shoot for that, and then if anything changes, I'll update you.
Okay, sounds great. Good luck chatting with the team.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Drew.
Did you see the difference there? And at the end, notice that I handed the problem back to the prospect to solve. The silence does a lot of the heavy lifting there. And then when you hand the problem back, a lot of times the real objection will surface. I need to think about it is not a real objection. It's not something that people do. People don't just go off into their room, sit down and ponder on what vendor they're going to hire or what weight loss program they're going to join. People have emotions that change. They think about it a million times throughout the day. And over 3 months, the balance of emotional evidence, that is, pushes them towards a decision to do it or not do it. But what you want to do is you want to collect all those moments that are scattered throughout 3 months and really bring them into one conversation. And that's what I mean when I say reasoning together or thinking alongside your prospect. The only thing to take away from this video, guys, is that to think about it is not an objection, it is feedback, it is data. It's the call telling you that you went too fast, that the call broke down, that you weren't creating a really great thinking environment for the prospect to truly unburden themselves of all their fears, anxieties, hopes, dreams. And you need to stop fiddling just with talk tracks and fix the thinking environment itself. The environment that the prospect comes into should be calm, even-keeled, relaxed. It should be thoughtful. It should be an unhurried space with no time constraints. And if you can't create that, that is where you should start working first, rather than trying to optimize these tonality talk tracks. If you want the exact framework that I use to flush objections before they surface at the end of the call, you can comment flush down below. I'll send it to you directly. It's the same framework I've used to take that sales team from 7 to 48%. And then the next video in this series is a breakdown of what your entire sales call should look like, including how to pre-handle the most common objections before they even happen. Go ahead and watch that coming up right now.